What's up guys, it's Roman here from iUnboxOfficial, and today we're talking about the iPad Air and the iPad Mini 2, so let's get into it. So if you guys didn't know, Apple just had a conference on October 22nd, which is today, and they announced two new products in the iPad series, so the iPad Air and the iPad Mini with Retina display, so the iPad Mini 2. The iPad Air is essentially the iPad 5, they just renamed it because, I don't know, they just renamed it to the iPad Air because it's really light now. So let's go and take a look at everything you should know about these two upcoming iPads, so let's get into it. So first off, the design of the iPad Air, it changed into like the iPad Mini design. As you guys know, it was kind of like a narrow bezel design. It had like individual buttons for speakers and etc. And then the speaker grills were on two sides of the charging port. So it's essentially just a jacked up iPad Mini. That's what it looks like. They removed the bezels from both sides, so it's now 20% thinner and 28% lighter, which is pretty impressive. And the iPad Air only weighs 1 pound now, which is also very impressive compared to the 1.4 they had in the previous generation iPad. And throughout all the changes, the actual screen size remained exactly the same, so it's the same 9.7-inch display. It's got the same Retina display. The screen hasn't actually changed, but the design of the iPad did. Color-wise, it'll come in two different colors. It'll come in space gray and black, or white and silver, and there's no gold option, or no gold option so far. They might release it later on, but who knows. And you can get it in 16, 32, 64, and 128GB models, $499, $599, $699, and $799 respectively. And moving on to the specs, it's going to come with a 64-bit A7 chip, and the same one in the iPhone 5. And it's also going to come with an M7 Motion coprocessor, which is like for gyroscopes and compasses and stuff like that. Camera-wise, it's going to stay exactly the same. It's going to be 5 megapixels with 1080p video, and it's going to be a 1.2 megapixel front camera with 720p FaceTime video. So essentially, it's exactly the same thing as the iPad, the previous iPad. It's just the design has changed and the processor is just slightly faster. So that is actually pretty much it for the iPad Air, and it will be released to the public on November 1st, which is in about 9 days from now. You can just go to the Apple Store or the nearest Best Buy and pick it up straight up from there. Moving on to the iPad Mini with Retina display, or the iPad Mini 2, second generation iPad. It is essentially the exact same thing. It's going to have the same 7.9-inch display, same design. The only difference is it's going to have a Retina display this time, so no more blurriness, no more pixelation. You get a clear, crisp Retina display, just like the iPad 4 did and the current iPad Air has. So like it'll be very vivid and stuff. It's 326 pixels per inch, which is the same thing as the iPhone 5S, which is pretty nice. Spec-wise, it's going to be a A7 64-bit processor along with a M7 Motion coprocessor. This is the exact same thing as in the iPad Air, so both internals are identical. But this time the iPad Mini 2 is twice as fast as the previous iPad Mini, which is also pretty great. Color-wise, it's going to come in two different colors, space gray and black, or white and silver, just like the iPad Air. Camera-wise, it stays exactly the same, 5 megapixel rear, 1080p video, 1.2 megapixel front, along with 720p video. And finally, it's going to come later on in November of this year, so they didn't put an exact release date because due to manufacturing purposes, they don't have enough supply. So they're going to like make a lot of them and then release it in like November 20th or something like that. That's just a rough estimate. Price-wise, the iPad Mini 2 will be $399 for the 16GB model, $499 for the 32GB model, $599 for the 64, and $699 for the 128GB models. The price did change for about $70, but considering it has a Retina display and is faster, so I don't really mind the change. And that's actually pretty much it. Apple did announce like Macs and MacBook Pros and MacBook and the big Mac Pros and stuff like that, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video. And that's actually pretty much it. I'm probably going to be getting the iPad Air since, I don't know, I don't really like the small iPad, but we'll see. And if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.